Welcome along. My name's Dr. Alan Wood, and I'm a senior lecturer in the physics team at Nottingham Trent University. And welcome along to the first of these sessions called Exploring the Solar System. So, what we're going to do within these sessions is each of them's about a 10-15 minute bite sized session. And we're going to look at things like results that have come from spacecraft sent to Venus, that's been sent to Mars, and some of the other wonders of the solar system as well. But before we get to that, we need to start off with a historical introduction. And that's what the first few of these videos are going to be about. So if I just hit screen share and amble over to the PowerPoint, here we go, and we'll have a look at session one, the dawn of science. Now, the night sky has fascinated people for millennia. It's fascinated people since people first began to look up and see these wonders spread out across the night sky. People have been fascinated by the moon, by the planets, by the stars, by the Milky Way itself. And in some ancient cultures, there's this lovely phrase to describe the Milky Way as the backbone of night, because when you looked up at it with a very dark sky and you could see the Milky Way arching over the sky, it looked like the backbone of night, holding the whole sky up in place. Now, the first attempts to begin to explain what was going on originated in a place called Ionia. And the scientific tradition was born in Ionia between about 600 and 400 years before Christ. Ionia is an area of islands and inlets in the eastern Mediterranean where modern day Greece is now. And it was a place of experimentation. It was a place where people really began to think about how the world worked. Thales, he worked out how to measure the height of a pyramid from the length of its shadow and the angle of the sun above the horizon. It's also said that he predicted a solar eclipse. And Alexandra built the first known sundial to measure time, produced a map of the known world and a map of the night sky. Pythagoras proposed that the Earth was round. We don't know his reasoning. Perhaps he saw the shadow of the Earth on the moon during a lunar eclipse. Perhaps he saw the masts of ships as they were going out to sea. There was some experimentation took place in Ionia as well. The first recorded experiments that we know about occurred here. The first recorded experiment was done on air in 450 BC. Now, there's this device here called a water thief, and this is pictured on the right-hand side of this slide. Now, what's going on here? Well, if it's a device which has got holes in the bottom of it, and what you'd usually do is you dip it in water. The water falls in through runs in through the holes at the bottom. You put your thumb over the top, then you can pick it up and you can move it around, and then you take your thumb off it some other place, and the water goes out. And you can do the same experiment if you put a straw in a glass today. Now, what this experiment was about here was it's saying, well, what happens if you try and fill this water thief with your thumb over the neck at the top? You put your thumb over the neck at the top, you put it in water, and no water comes in through the holes. Why? Well, there must be something in the way. And it was postulated that what was in the way was air. And this is the first recorded scientific experiment. Now, it was argued that the air was too small to see, but its effect could be seen. Aristarchus suggested a heliocentric model of the universe, suggested the sun was at the center of the universe. He observed the shadow of the Earth on the moon during the lunar eclipse and concluded the sun had to be larger than the Earth and further away from the moon. He suggested that everything must go around the sun. We don't quite know his reasoning, but possibly because it was the larger object. So why did science arise in Ionia? Why here? Why not somewhere else? Well, in Ionia, there was no single concentration of power. Free inquiry was possible. People were able to ask questions. It was at the crossroads of civilizations and ideas. There were trade routes going east, west, and north, south. And as people brought goods, they brought ideas as well. There's widespread literacy, which meant a significant fraction of the population had access to these ideas. The political power was in the hands of the merchants who actively promoted technology. Technology gave them prosperity, and so free inquiry was viewed as a good thing. Another shining light of the ancient world was the library in Alexandra in modern-day Egypt. This was the first research institute in the world. Physics, literature, medicine, astronomy, geography, philosophy, mathematics, biology, and engineering were studied here. There were 10 research halls, a zoo, an observatory, and books. All visiting ships to Alexandra were searched. Books were copied and then returned to the ships. There was this vast gathering of knowledge. Aristarchus argued that the Earth and the other planets orbit the Sun, and the stars are very far away. Herod invented steam engines and wrote the first book on robotics. In the 3rd century, the size of the world was established. How? Well, this guy here, Aricynthius, found read a very interesting report. He read a report that said at noon on the 21st of June, sticks placed vertically in the ground at Syene cast no shadow. He wanted to see this for himself, so he put a stick in the ground at noon on the 21st of June in Alexandra, but it cast a shadow. So, why? Was the report wrong? Was the report intentionally wrong? Had it been falsified? But why should it be? So he thought, well, that's interesting. So he found that at noon on the 21st of June in Alexandria, sticks do indeed cast a shadow, as shown like this. So he had the experiment repeated at Syene, and at Syene on the 21st of June, no shadow was cast. It got the distance from Alexandria to Syene to be measured. It was measured by someone traveling there by camel, and by knowing roughly how far a camel could travel in a day, you could work out the distance between Alexandria and Syene. Now, from these data, the fact that there was no shadow cast by a stick placed vertically in the ground at Syene on the 21st of June, and the fact that there was at Alexandra, and this angle here shown on the diagram is 7 degrees, and the distance between Alexandra and Syene, the size of the world could be established. And I'm going to leave that to you as a question. So have a think about that. The next of these videos will appear on Thursday. These videos will appear at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays each week. So have a think about that and see if you can establish this. And we'll look at the solution to that in the next video. Thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy the rest of your day.